Well, hello there. You are listening to Nellyville, the podcast. Santa came down the chimney, boom, 3:30, y'all. Left all of the good old presents for my baby and for me. Ha, 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 and a ho, 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 and a he, he, he. How you doing? This is officially the Christmas episode of Nellyville, the podcast. Welcome. I'm your host, Chanel number 5, and I'm so glad for you to be here. When I talk to you again, Christmas will have come and gone. It's here. This is it, people. This is your last chance to run out and get your last minute gifts. You know, if it's cold out there, bundle up. If you in a warm place, then enjoy your summer style Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Other parts of the world, shout out to Bluey and them who having a Christmas down there in Australia. You know what I'm saying? It's a totally different life, Don't everybody get a I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. For some people, it is only but a dream. Shout out to my Miami folk, Florida, Texas out here hot, you know what I'm saying? Whatever weather you having, you got to deal with it because you got to do what you got to do to get it done. Hello. I hope you got your fixings for your Christmas dinners. Are y'all stepping outside the bun? Huh? Did y'all skip the traditional Thanksgiving meal? Are you going to go traditional for Christmas? Or, was it flip-flop? Did you go stay traditional for Thanksgiving and you going to get a little different? You know what I'm saying? What y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the... However you do it, let me know how it goes. Now, one thing I am looking forward to, I want my Christmas tamales, okay? Look, home is home. Kentucky is home. Louisville is home. I am not a Texas girly, but there are some things I adopted. And, one thing I do miss, I used to work with this girl, shout out Diana. Her mother, every Christmas season, they would sell these tamales, and she would bring me a whole smorgasbord, if you will, of the tamales. And her mother also used to make bowls. Her mother would just a great shout out to Diana and her mother. I hope they're doing well. Merry Christmas, okay? But man, some of the best tamales you ever had. And if you've never tried tamales, you're missing out. They're a great food any time of the year, but it's just something I do kind of associate them with Christmas. It's something that I got to get me some. You can, for me, I can do breakfast, lunch, or dinner with the tamales. Love it. Put a little ranch. Now that's where the American come in. I know people like, what? No, no. Ranch on the tamales. Sorry, not to get cultural appropriative over here. Let me stop before I end up in the scandal before 2026 even gets here. Let's not close the year with being culturally appropriative. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. Well, one more thing before we get into the hot topics and all that, which, anyways, before we get into the topics of today, this is going to line up to be 10 episodes because I do 10 episodes every season, right? It's going to end up 10 episodes for the end of the year. So next week when I come and do the New Year's Eve episode, that's going to be it. And I feel like I don't know, but it's something about that feels so delicious. It feels so complete. It feels so yummy. So next Friday, it'll be the Friday after Christmas, but it will be my, Happy New Year to you guys episode. And then we'll come back in the new year with the new season. I think that's real cute. I didn't do it on purpose. I just lucked out and something, I don't know, but something about that in my spirit. And the timer on this just hit 444. Let's just pause and make a wish and say a blessing and thank you. Hallelujah. Something is in alignment on this episode here today. It's Shamananaya. I feel it. I feel it in my spirit, honey. Okay. Those of you who like angel numbers, it is 246 if you want to look that up. Maybe that speaks to you. Maybe that's a message for somebody. Look up the meaning of the 246 of the angel number. Okay, we veered off. Let's bring it back. Speaking of Christmas and things that I look forward to. Okay, so we talked about tamales. I love a Disney crossover. We talked about the crossover episodes, I think, for Halloween. Disney used to do this thing with the shows where they would combine and do the crossover episodes, and it just I would eat it up every time. The girlies really look forward to it. It is something so cool, which and let me be clear. Disney did not invent the crossover episodes. Obviously, we've seen it before, as far as back almost as long as TV has been around, where you have characters from other shows in character on different shows. But it's just something that's so satisfying about it. It's worlds colliding. It just adds an extra layer of entertainment that just really tickles the brain, the heart, the soul, and the mind. So I love to go back to those classics and just see, the magic of it all. I love a crossover. So along with my Christmas movies, which or maybe you don't know, my favorite Christmas movie of all time is going to be Jingle All the Way. Oh, love, I'm so sorry. I don't know how y'all feel about Jingle All the Way. I don't know why. That's with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. I and is in some other really great actors in that movie. But man, it's just that one. I don't know. She's the one. I mean, I love a Home Alone. I love anything with the Tim Allen. Anything with Tim Allen. Gonna love all of those. The Santa Claus and all of that. I love the Grinch. All of those, the cartoon version, the original version, the two newer versions. Like I'm all here for it. But man, something about that Jingle All the Way. Let me tell you something. But speaking of crossovers, okay, we're gonna step away from the Christmas topics for just a second, but we will circle back. And we will circle back, okay? Aren't you glad? Some of those of you who work in corporate America or places where it's very email heavy. Aren't you glad? If you are blessed enough to have vacations and things, at least for a little bit, aren't you glad you're not gonna have to read an open email that say, "Per my last email, let's circle back." Oh God, aren't you glad you can just hang up the corporate jargon just if even just for a few days? I'm sure a lot of you are very very happy about that. But hey, even if you gotta work Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, at least you got a job. You know what I'm saying? You got to find the positive. Okay? But speaking of crossovers, there was some crossover in two of my worlds right now. And in internet world, everything is very niche. Everything is very in its own little corner. And something can be so huge and so popular and so famous and so massive, but only in that one little corner. I mean, you could have people that have millions and just millions of followers, viewers. I mean, so big. And yet it's still so niche because it's just so much out there. So it just really it tickles me pink when I'm like, this little corner of my world found this corner of my world. Oh gosh, it's just I can't explain it. It's just very satisfying. And I think that all stem from my deep appreciation of the Disney crossovers. Hell, I appreciate it more. You don't see it very often. And this little very niche crossover was just merely I'm listening to Monet Talks, okay, with Monet Exchange, and she has Irene, Irene season 15, also was just on the most recent season of All Stars. I think almost did Irene win All Stars? Baby, don't get me started real life. Anyways, Irene was on the episode, but the crossover was somehow, some way. I think it was the Irene episode. Anyways, Monet got to talking about Dean Withers, and we've mentioned Dean on the podcast before. He's the young man who does the political debates. He's been on the major news networks too. You've probably seen him. You probably heard of him. And if you have, I mean, check him out. The boy is solid. I think he's about 21 years old. But oh my goodness, the boy he's good. When I say the boy can debate, the boy can debate. Very articulate, very well spoken, knows what he's talking about, and really knows how to. He's just good. You got to watch my man in action because I'm like, damn, little boy, this you right now at 21? Oh, forget about it. Forget about it. Anyways, it's nice to see the young people being involved in the politics and bringing in that younger audience and not to talk too much about politics, but look, most people get their news and things from social media. Let's just be honest. Most people are not getting their news from mainstream sources. Most people are not reading the newspaper, even if they subscribe to it online or if they're still getting it thrown on their porch. Most people, and not even just young people, most people are getting the bulk of their news from social media. And unfortunately, that's where the Democratic Party failed, is that the Republicans were very, very heavy. Say what you want about the Republicans. Unfortunately, they are way better than the Democrats when it comes to discussing their message and reaching out on all of these platforms. They just the Democrats work hard and they do a lot of things, but they do not boast and brag about their wins. They do not alert us when they were passing legislation, when they were doing all the things. They were just out there working in and dipping in and doing it. But the thing is, and then the few times when they did say, "Oh, we did this thing," it was on Skibbity Boppity Boo Network. That I mean, nobody's watching that, and then the people who need to see it certainly are not watching it. So the Republicans not only did any little tiny thing they did, even things that they weren't doing, they were very quick to blast it all over the internet, and so they got to speak. So the Democrats really need to take a page out of the book. So when you have content creators like Dean Withers and Parker Get a Real Job, when you have people like Tashika and like all of these debaters and stuff, like especially heavy on TikTok, it it does good to get the message out there, but not just the message, but to get information, to get facts, to draw in so many people who either are very young and just getting into the world of politics, older people who maybe have just lost interest, people around my age. I mean, we've survived so much, and it just seems like we were just always being constantly lied to. A lot of us is just like we were participating in voting, but it's like I don't know, man. Y'all say things and then it doesn't happen. I and part of the generation that survived. You know, not survived, but lived through and witnessed, the Al Gore and Bush election, the 9/11 situation, the market crash of '08, the student loan craziness. It, you know what I'm saying? It seems like it's just been life event after life event after, and then we're just kind of like, well, guess we're just gonna live in our 90s world and pretend like we know what we're doing here. And then, anyways, so I've gone too far from what I was really trying to say, but it's just really great to have these people to draw in everyone, Democratic and Republican, to get the Republicans out of their echo chamber. And there's Republican debaters too, but it's nice to be able to see in a palatable way, in a way that is entertaining but also informative, where you can receive the information in a way that you understand. When you have experts who get on and debate, you have people from all these different fields. You have economists. These aren't just, people who just, and some of the debaters are just people who sit up in their room and they just have a love of politics. And but you also have professionals like economists and professors, philosophers, lawyers. So they are able to break down all of this jargon and read in between the lines and really tell you, okay, this is the current event that happened today. Here's what it actually means. Let me explain it to you like you're 5. Most of us just explain it to me like I'm 5. You know what I mean? Unless you're a poli-sci major, a econ major, an English major, most of this stuff, and no one's really taking the time to really read about it and break it down. So when someone can, in an entertaining way, dangle something shiny and say, here's what's going on, you don't feel so bad about being in a loop. I have really gone on. I am so sorry, but I was so excited. But speaking of bringing worlds together, here we are. We have someone in the entertainment of the drag world, totally different, which very heavily affected by politics right now. But I digress. Talking about Dean Wither, I'm just like, whoa. Like, I know Dean is big, but it just seemed very niche that, they've crossed over and it was like, wow, this is a cool little moment. And so when you have people who are big in other areas and they mention something, now all of these drag friends, they're going to be like, well, who's Dean Withers? The word spreads. See, internet, great. Sometimes the internet can be good. Opening up to a whole new audience. I'm just saying. Now, speaking of opening up and speaking of the Irene episode, one thing I can appreciate in a podcast, I can appreciate a good journalist. I can appreciate someone who knows how to ask questions and all of the things. But what I can also appreciate is when a guest is not afraid to decline to answer questions. And I really, Irene pretty much just shut down Monet. I mean, I'm listening, so I didn't really see body language. I didn't see facial expression. It wasn't rude, but you could tell it was a moment like, oh, okay, how do I pivot from here on Monet's end? So I don't know if y'all remember when we talked about Irene's drag daughter, Ariete. Ariete was the one who stole the jokes from Jules back on, a couple seasons back on Drag Race. Ariete, she was doing the most, over the summer and earlier this year, being real nasty online, making up stuff. It got real nasty, real crazy without getting into too many details on that. And, you know, things were said, things were done, and Irene, was like, that's just, she's not my drag daughter anymore. And it was one of the bigger drag race scandals of the year. So, cut to, in one of the more recent episodes of Monet Talks, Monet Talks is very different from sibling rivalry that she does with Bob. It's more banter, it's more comedic, it's different. Monet Talks obviously is more of a sit down interview, let's talk about it, let's get into it type of thing. Not overly serious, but it definitely gives you a throwback 90s talk show vibe, which I love. The thing is, though, normally in any interview situation, be it on TV, be it on podcasts, YouTube video, anytime someone has a guest on the show, if you are a guest, not all the time, but most of the time, questions are approved. And either the host will run the questions by the guests, the host will have these questions and they'll send it in advance and say, are these topics okay? Are these questions okay? And sometimes the guest will just straight up let them know, yes, I will come on the show, but I do not want to talk about these things. Or I will talk about these things, but I don't want to focus on that. And what that does is that helps for there to not be an awkwardness, because if someone asks you something too personal or something you're not ready to reveal or to promote, then you don't have this awkwardness of, well, I don't want to talk about that right in the middle of a show. Because, you only have so much time, especially if you're talking about a radio segment or something. You want to make sure whatever you're going to ask is that the artist actually has something to say and that they're comfortable saying it. Now, sometimes interviewers will just ask stuff anyway, even when they know they're not supposed to ask that. Sometimes, depending on the situation, you know what sometimes you don't know what questions are going to be asked, and you just have to go in there, and everybody's got to hope for the best. You don't know if they're going to answer, and you don't know what they're going to ask. So, and so sometimes you get these situations where the guest will just answer the question out of pressure because it can be awkward to be like, well, I don't want to talk about that. Especially depending on how seasoned you are, how many interviews you've done, how big a fan you are of the show that you are on. And then that's when people end up saying stuff that maybe they don't want to say because they haven't processed. They weren't expecting to answer that question. So now if I don't know what Monet does over there in in Mo Nation LLC over there, whatever the I feel like I feel like Monet is the type to at least ask, "Is there anything you don't wanna talk about?" Maybe she doesn't, and if she doesn't, hopefully this will be a lesson learned to, like, maybe get approved topics so you don't have these moments. And look, I'm not trying to make it bigger than what it was, but it was a little awkward. And they try to pry a little bit, but Monet moved on and recovered, but it was I don't know if Irene maybe initially said yes and then changed her mind in the moment. I don't know if Monet just assumed Irene was just gonna wanna talk about it. I don't know. But Monet was like, "So, let's talk about the drama," or, something like that, and Irene was just like, "Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that." And Monet's like, we're not no, we're not doing that because I just don't even wanna give it any more life. I don't wanna." And I don't blame her. I don't blame her for not wanting to talk. It's been talked about. It's been said and done. It's in the past. Move on. And it was borderline and got a little more than a little messy. Some serious allegations were thrown around that were proven to be false, but yeah. But I love the way Irene handled it because in the pressure of the moment, someone who wasn't fully like through it or in a particular headspace could have just started, word vomiting. If you're not expecting to answer a question and then you're trying to think of stuff on the spot, that's when you start saying stuff that, people are going to clip and reel. And yeah. Now, Monet did a good job about moving on, but it goes back to being seasoned now, a more seasoned interview, which Monet is great. Do not get me wrong. Monet is one of the best interviewers that, I mean, Monet is good. However, I think she was a little stunned, and I could just tell even in audio that Irene didn't want to talk about that, and I'm sure she thought that was gonna be a huge chunk of the podcast. And then how do you follow up with that? I mean, she did good, but there was a little bit of a fumble because it's like, I just asked this huge question. They don't wanna talk about it. The viewers are gonna wanna hear about this thing, and now we are not talking about that. How do I keep people from clicking off? Because you bring up this really hot topic, and then you can't just pivot from that and be like, "Oh, okay, well, so what's your favorite color?" Like, like, you gotta follow up with something that is maybe just as juicy, but then you don't wanna ask anything too juicy because obviously, like, this person wants to, they don't wanna be juicy and messy and Irina's not that type of girl. And I respect that, I love it. I love that. I knew I loved her. Oh, what a great queen. She's like, "Baby, next question. Thank you. Bye." Oh, I love it. Oh, that was delicious. And then also you don't want your guests to feel awkward and all of that, but I like that. Let's normalize saying, "No, I don't wanna answer that question." But also normalize approving your talking points so you don't have these awkward moments. But for anybody who plans on having Irene on their show, baby, don't ask, 'cause she ain't got nothing to say about it. She said, "Ariety who?" Oh, her? Baby, don't know her, never met her. Who's she? Oh, okay. Anyways, hand me my water. So, speaking of people who don't like to talk about things, can we pivot to Denzel Dion? Now, y'all know Denzel and Ricky. Denzel and Ricky used to have a podcast back in the day. They some OG YouTubers. They still out here dipping and doing it. Denzel Dion, he's still doing his clothing line, Noid, which is really has some really nice items. So if you looking to support, up and coming black designer, check out Noid. He has shoes, handbags, clothes, and some really nice stuff. I'm not even gonna I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna hold you. It's not just hoodies and t-shirts, which it ain't nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is the little boys really are doing designer. I ain't gonna say designer because he ain't that much younger than me, but little boy. But the tea is, so here I am. I get a little notification on my phone. Denzel was sent out a little tweet. It was on the X. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, let's see what Denzel has said. And the tweet said, "I miss him." And so, of course, I immediately click on it because I'm like, who are we talking about? Because Denzel don't talk about nobody. Denzel does not talk about the love department, which I think is a smart idea. You want to keep all that private. And if hold on, I'm gonna come back to him, but it made me think of, okay, so y'all know Bretman Rock. This is crazy. Bretman Rock's also one of like the original YouTubers, which Bretman's out here also dipping and doing it. Oh man! And if you seen Bretman's hair, oh my gosh, we didn't have a whole segment about Bretman's hair routine. I mean, wow, damn, the boy's hair is beautiful. But anyways, what made me just think about this is Bretman had a boyfriend that he was dating for a very long time. I don't remember how many years, but it was a minute, and no one ever knew who the guy was, which is smart in my opinion. And then they were together for years, and then they finally went public. And then I feel like maybe a year went past, and then they broke up. And it's just like, well, damn, like and I don't think it was a messy breakup or anything like that. But I know Bretman, in the back of Bretman's mind, he was probably like, and this is why. Because going through a breakup is one thing, but then when you have to do it publicly, when people know, when people are, when they're entangled in your socials and stuff like that, it just adds another layer. And then you're famous, so you got people asking questions, and it's just like, dang, to have kept it private for so long, and then it seemed like as soon as he went public, which is not the worst thing in the world, and blah blah blah, whatever. Back to Denzel. Why'd you delete the tweet? Why you say who was you talking about? And I need, for anybody who knows, I need to go digging on Reddit. Let me tell you something. If you want to know some deep, dark, niche secret, go to Reddit. Now double check, because Reddit, most of the time Reddit will get it right though. People have time on Reddit. Do you hear me? People have time. But for Denzel to tweet something like that, now Denzel is notorious for tweeting something and deleting it immediately. I don't know if Denzel be over there having a little 1-2-1-2 cocktail And then be like, "Now, why'd I say that?" Or if he does it on I don't know. I mean, sometimes you be tweeting stuff, you're like, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that." But I just wonder, who is he talking about? Who are we missing, Denzel? Do we have a little love story? Who are we talking about? Who are we dating? What's tea? Leave it up next time so I can dig. But if y'all know something, I would love to know. Anyways, glad to see Denzel and Ricky both doing great, looking fabulous. We love Black excellence over here. Now, speaking of relationship drama, there's been people. I found another little niche little argument people are so upset about. I don't really know how I feel about it. I think here, let me tell you what it is, and then let's see if we're all on the same page here. So there's a lady who got online and made a video about how there was a woman. Okay, hold on. There's this lady. She was in the grocery store with her man, and so the lady makes a video and says, yeah, this woman asked my man to get something off the top shelf. I'm paraphrasing. Honestly, I didn't see the video. I saw like the responses and stuff. So I don't know. I didn't do that much research. It's my Christmas episode. I just want to get to the meat and potatoes. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so the lady was like, yeah, this woman asked my man to get something off. I don't even know if she's black. I'm giving her a black scent because I don't know. It makes it more fun, I guess. Whatever. And she said that that her boyfriend, husband, or whoever, was looking back and forth and was like, "Oh, do you mind? Like, can I go help this woman?" And then so the woman was like, "Yeah, that's right. He knows what's don't be doing asking my man to get nothing off the top shelf, and he knew to ask me first before he did it, and so people, but and which look, it sounds silly. Look, most of the time, and I'm a shorty, which I don't really go to the grocery store like that, but I can't reach anything, so I'm 5 foot. So, anything past like the third row, it's a wrap. I'm not getting it. And I don't really have the social skills or the wherewithal to ask a stranger, hey, can you get this for me? I might, most of the time, I probably just won't get it. But it's very common for someone to look at someone in the eye and say, hey, excuse me, do you mind? Could you? People do it all the time. And so my initial thought is this woman is really insecure and silly. I didn't see how old this woman was, but it seems like she's, you know, grown enough. And from what I could tell, it didn't seem like she was like a super young girl. Maybe just I don't know. I'm just gonna take a stab and say in her 40s, 50s. I don't know. But the thing that got me was people were so angry at this woman for making this video. We're like, really? This is what we're doing? Don't nobody want your goddamn husband? Man, okay, oh my gosh, this comment right here, I laughed for 10 minutes. Somebody said, lady, don't nobody want Ruben Studdard. This is my sorry for 2004 ass husband. Baby, why they had to go all the way back to Rupert Studdard? They said, lady, don't nobody want your Rupert Studdard. I'm sorry for 2004. Jesus Christ. Like, people were so angry, which that's more, I was like, okay, yeah, this lady is doing a lot saying, yeah, this woman asked my husband for something. I was like, okay, yeah, one might say that's a pretty insecure take, but people getting online and like going in on this woman. Like, don't nobody see us? What's wrong with y'all? I was like, whoa, this is a lot of anger for somebody who just said, and I don't even, maybe she was trying to be funny. I could see a world where she wasn't being serious, where she was like, yeah, my man better ask me. But let's play devil's advocate for a second. I could see a world where, because look, there is women intuition, and we know there's people out here who will do some slimy, shady stuff. So We were not in the aisle with these people, okay? And lady, if that's how you feel, if you feel like you got to train your man to ask you, maybe check check your man. I mean, maybe she knows something about her man that we don't. And I'm not gonna put that on him, but for real though, all jokes aside, it is some people out here, especially women, who will go out of their way to flirt with their man and act like they're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's something where she could have reached it and she just wanted to say something, or maybe she knew who she was and she knew y'all and she was trying to be funny. Like y'all really went in on this woman, but there is a world now. Did she need to come on the internet and say that? Maybe. Like it, I think obviously it fell on deaf ears, but you know, there is a small percentage of, and I think the larger principle of what she was trying to say, it does apply. Now, does it apply necessarily in the grocery store aisle? Maybe not, but and then okay, if you see it for me, okay, let's just start with this and then I'm gonna break off into something else. If I'm in the grocery store aisle and I can't read something and there's a couple, I'm gonna address the couple. Now, I don't know if the girl said, "Can your husband," or she just looked right at the husband and said, "Sir, can you." I'm guessing she just said, I think if I remember correctly, I think she just said, "Sir, can you help me get this thing?" Whatever she said, she addressed the husband, boyfriend, whatever, whoever it was. I don't know. I I think I would address the couple just because I know there are insecure people out there. And I just, in a common rule of thumb with whatever I'm doing, I will always address the wife or the girlfriend, or I will address the couple as a whole. Not just necessarily in a grocery store aisle, but in general. Like if I'm a nanny, so I've worked for different couples. Anytime I need to have some kind of conversation or something that's not directly, about, if it's not an emergency, if it's not necessarily about the kids, or maybe it's about something, I'm always going to text the wife first. I'm going to call the wife. I'm going to talk to the wife first. I'm going to ask the wife, "Can I speak to both of you all?" I try not to have one-on-one discourse with the husband, because I don't know, me personally, I just feel weird about it. I feel like it's a matter of respect, but I think that's more of like an old school thing. But anytime it's a couple, if I'm out with friends or something, I'm gonna address the woman or the couple as a whole. Because for one, I don't want no problems. Because there's women out here who would get on the internet and be like, "Chanel was trying to take my man. How dare she? Ask him for some gum." You know what I'm saying? I don't, baby. Do y'all have some gum? Hey Sheila, do you have some gum? I don't need to ask Roger if he got some gum, man. You know what I'm saying? I just, and this goes back to, oh, I just unlocked a memory. I remember there was a conversation. Oh, y'all. Hold on, I gotta get my charger because the computer's about to die and I just unlocked a memory. Pause. It's not gonna be long for y'all, but 1 second. Okay, I got the charger. Okay, so all right, here's the memory that's unlocked. Now, I don't remember the story verbatim, but the gist of it was, okay, so this was years ago. This was a long time ago, early 20s. So I remember there was a conversation with my boss at the time and with the whole creative team, and for what reason we got on the topic of, I don't know how we got there, but anyways, this story that he told directly correlates with what we're talking about right now, with the fact of the boundary of like respect and asking the wife for the girlfriend or blah blah blah, or if you're a man, direct your questions to the man. Oh, we was talking about church and stuff or whatever. So what he was saying was, there was a woman at church who let's hold on, my phone's ringing. Dang, hold on. Okay, I'm not gonna tell in order, but anyways, he was saying there was a woman at his church who asked him to do something. to help her do so. I don't remember it was help her move, help her do something at her house, help do something. And I think it also might have been something where she, and I might be putting two stories together, but I think the woman also like baked him like a pie or something like that. I don't know. I might be adding that detail. That might not have been there. But anyways, the main point of the situation was the woman asked him to do something, and I think that his wife at the time might have had an issue with it, or at least had an issue with after the fact. So what happened was, I think it turned into an argument. Obviously, the memory ain't that unlocked, y'all. But anyway, so here's this woman at church asked him to help do something, and he was just like, "Okay, yeah, sure." Because most of the time, the church woman asks you to do something, look, an elder, you gonna do it. You're not really gonna think. Plus, men don't be thinking about stuff, and sometimes they do. But anyways, cut two. He went to go help the woman, and the woman ended up making a pass at him. And he was saying that he was so shocked and so thrown, and was like, yeah. So anyway, so the wife, ended up, I think in a godly way, kind of told the woman about herself or whatever. But anyways, I remember telling him, obviously he was obviously way older than me, but even in my young early 20s, I was like, well, the first mistake was that she asked you and not your wife. And then so we get into this whole dialogue of, I was like, well, I said, it's not really any issue. I said, but women pick up on stuff more. For that woman to have made a point to just ask you and ask you when your wife was not around, that's already a red flag to me, because people, and you hate to have to think that way, especially about church folk, but honestly, if you ask me, church folk are the worst. I'm sorry. I said it. This is not breaking news, and if it is, I said it, and you can quote me. Church people, to me, and I'm so sorry, in my 34 years, I can say this to be true. The more involved and the more uptight and the more invested somebody is in their church life, not their relationship with God, but the more people are so churchy, the most nasty, evil people you ever meet. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I hate to say that before Christmas, but we keep it real over here. And so he was like, yeah, you made a point. And then so like the other people, the women on the team that I was saying that to, they were like, yeah, like I would do the same thing, or they were like, yeah, that makes sense. And some of the guys were like, yeah, I'm always going to ask my wife first or my girlfriend first. Or some of the guys were like, oh, I never thought about it that way. It just goes to show you how men and women think about things differently. But I was like, yeah, like that was the I was like, yeah, it's just because you don't know people's intentions, and if people's intentions are pure, women are gonna be able to pick up on it. Because if she would ask your wife, if she tried to be slick and ask your wife, "Oh, you mind this your husband come over? He can help me, or can he unload this truck, or whatever." Da, 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 da," the wife would have been able, like, "No, sweetie, he got to work, or he's not available, or whatever." That's just my rule of thumb, and I think that's I don't know how many people still think like that. I think I know that that's an old school mentality. I feel like back in the day, a woman you don't bake or cook for nobody else's man, and you don't you address, and it goes both ways. Like if you have neighbors and stuff, like, say, like, let's see, let's just say, for example, you got to shovel a driveway or something. You know, you gotta be careful about asking other people, so, can you help me shovel this drive? Not that women can't shovel driveways, y'all know what I'm saying. Let's not make it it's not an equality battle. But what I'm saying is, if you know your husband gonna be out of town, and you expect the snow, or maybe the snow crept up, the husband should call the other husband, like, "Hey, if you don't mind, I'll throw you a couple bucks. If you don't mind, if you could help the wife and kids, just shovel the driveway, or take the trash cans up, or give her a jump, her car won't start, or you as a woman go ask the wife, or man, you don't need to go and knocking on the door asking somebody else's wife, "Hey, I see your husband's not home. Can I have a cup of sugar?" No, man, hold on, nigga. Don't come ask my wife. I'm not. You don't need. Why are you talking? And it's not about being possessive. It's just a matter of respect, and it's just a matter of making sure there's no misconception. You Because not everybody thinks the same, and there's room for error. And most of the time, communication things don't get relayed the same way. So to just avoid it all, my rule of thumb is I just like to address the couple as a whole, especially if it's not a couple that I interact with, like a lot, or if it's in professional settings, I just want to address the couple as a whole, or I'm just gonna address the woman. We just gonna bypass. Because you never know what a couple's been through. And sometimes it is just an issue of insecurity. And I don't want to be the victim of somebody else's insecurity. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be at a bank and I ask somebody, "Hey, oh, sorry, excuse me, can I borrow a pen?" And then here comes Sally Sue coming out of the bathroom. Hey, Mark, why, what are you doing? My grandmother gave you that pen. Why would you just give it to her? Like, I'm not trying, you know what I'm saying? You don't know, man. That's just my Now, if you build up a rapport with your neighbors or your coworkers or the people, if you build up that type of rapport where you can, your in-laws and stuff, if you feel like, okay, I can call, you know, then okay, but make sure that boundary is really, really clear. Make sure it is absolutely clear. It's just some things that that you don't do. So all that to say, I think you know, the wider scheme of what she was trying to say is, there is a boundary. Now, how far that boundary needs to go, I guess it's from person to person, relationship to relationship. And well, I tell you now, if I'm in a grocery store and I see a couple, I'm just not gonna get it. Apparently, you can't ask people, but check and make sure that is not coming from a place of insecurity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be that person. That's a miserable life to think because let me tell you something. If you constantly walking around thinking somebody's trying to take your woman or take your man, they not yours. Let them go. If your brain is not at ease or at rest, and if you want to know if somebody's cheating on you, do you think they're cheating on you? Then there's your answer. So, not to ruin people's relationships and marriages before Christmas, but if you think they are, then they are. Go with your gut. And if it turns out that they're not, and you dumped them, they weren't doing anything wrong. It was still something in you that it didn't sit right in your spirit. When you with who you're supposed to be with, your spirit is going to be at peace. So maybe they haven't done anything wrong, but maybe something's trying to tell you something. You're not at ease. So either you need to go to therapy because you have issues from the past, you have past trauma, you have insecurities within yourself, or they are actually out here they not being genuine. There's something not right. So, why live like that? Why live under the constant anxiety of, is they looking at them, or they trying to take my man, he trying to take my woman. But y'all be so quick. Don't be out here too relaxed, because y'all be so quick to sit up here and let your friends and stuff be all around you. We talked about it a few weeks ago when at the club and the girl, remember? Y'all be so quick, man. It don't be the women in the grocery stores. It don't be these little outside people. It be the people in your closest of circle, because those are the ones who spend the most time together. That's why it always be the coworkers. That's why it always be the people at the gym. It be the usual suspects. It be your own family. God damn it. It be your own. It's almost not almost always, because a lot it can be outside people, but most of the time it's the usual suspects. It's the ex, it's the quote unquote best friend, it's the fake pretend brother sister, it's your siblings, it's your in-laws, it's your parents, it's your churn. I'm just saying, I ain't trying to put no ideas in people's head, but follow your intuition. Everybody got it, and baby, it's right. Exercise it. Find that peace from within, and cut 'em off. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, all that happy cheers to all the lovely couples out there. I hope your Christmases go nice. Anyways, let's pivot to something a little lighter in time. I'm just saying. Just saying. I ain't trying to rain on nobody's parade, dog. Hey, I just keep real, you know what I'm saying? So we are gonna close out with my top 10. Well, hold up. 12. Top 12. I couldn't get it down to a 10. These are my top 12 favorite Christmas songs. Now, there might be other ones that I'm like, oh, dang, I should have put that on the list. But I wanted to do the most genuine, the most immediate response. Like, so I wrote down, you know, 12 songs super quick because I feel like that's how I could tell. Because obviously, it's so much Christmas music. Like, you know what I mean? It's so much. And I have a lot of Christmas songs that are on this list that I really, really love. Like, just now, I just thought about Train, It's Christmas Time. Oh, gosh, I love that song. But I feel like these first ones that came to my head, I think that those gotta be the favorites, right? Because they were top of mind. I didn't have to struggle, I didn't have to think about it, is what it was. Now, did I struggle putting them in order? A little bit. Once I got to the middle, ooh, baby, it was some ties. It was some ties, but I finalized the list. Let's go over it. The list is as such. Now, I was gonna try to play these songs, however, I'm not trying to get my stuff taken down. So, use your imagination. Make the list, write it down. I can send it to you. I can make you a playlist. Should I make a playlist? Maybe I'll make a little, if I think about it, maybe I'll make a little YouTube playlist. Y'all can listen to these songs. So starting from number 12, okay? Favorite Christmas songs of Nellyville. Sleigh Ride, TLC. Let's have a very Merry Christmas. Okay, we know her. Cause you gotta get a little upbeat. You gotta get a little 90s. I like a groove. All right, coming in hot at number 11. Now y'all gonna be like, why is it so low? I'm sorry. Okay, it's just the way it fell. Donny Hathaway, This Christmas. Now, I like This Christmas from pretty much anybody who's thinking, but Donny Hathaway, let me tell you something. There is a memory. I can tell you the first time I heard. I can tell you the first time I heard the Donny Hathaway This Christmas, okay? My aunt tracked down this CD from her childhood. She was so excited, okay? I was probably, I want to say around 6, 7, 6, 7. Oh my gosh, I didn't even do that on purpose. Oh my gosh, 6, 7, 8, 9. But anyways, so I was around 6, 7. And we were at the Rolling Hills, okay? And she tracked down, I almost feel like I almost feel like it was on vinyl. I almost feel like it was. But I know it was this particular CD that she tracked down, that it was from her childhood. She was very excited about the CD. I'm like, okay, well, what you got? I'm here for it. I love music. I want to be excited too. Put me on game. And so Mommy me puts on she told me and my cousin Joshua, she said, y'all gotta hear this. And then I remember dun, 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 dun. I was like, what Christmas magic is this? And the rest is history. The rest is just, I was like, man, I get it and I understand. And I would have been geeked too if I stumbled across this and had that Christmas magic growing up. Okay, number 10. Okay, look, we gotta slow it down. I know this one is sad, but damn it, I love this song. The Emotions. What do the lonely do? I'm so sorry. That song gets me. What do the lonely do at Christmas time? Man, y'all don't think y'all know about the emotions. You know, it is a sad song. And look, some sad Christmas songs I can get behind. Sometimes they're a little too sad. Sometimes I'm like, this ain't helping people with seasonal depression. You know what I'm saying? But I think more than that, the way that song is arranged, it's just just a beautifully made song. The instruments, their voices, the harmonies, it is really just it's a beautiful song. It really, really is. Coming in at number 9, Wham! Last Christmas. Okay? You can't do Christmas without Wham? Huh? Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but and that's another one. Anybody who sings Last Christmas, love her. Love her. Love Pink. Anyways, number 8. Okay, here's the one where I had to do both. Okay, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, but Miley Cyrus. Okay, now originally that's going to be Brenda Lee. Okay, Brenda Lee, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. Now, this is one that I don't mind anybody singing, but I love the original with Brenda Lee, which I think she's original, and then Miley Cyrus. And the cute thing about this song is Brenda Lee, if you didn't know, was 13 years old, I think. I think she was like 13. Think about Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. That does not sound like a 13-year-old. That girl sung that song. That's a great one. Love it. Great beat. Reminds me of Home Alone. It really gets you. That's one of them. It's like, okay, Christmas is here. This is it. She sung the hell out of that song. But she was 13, but then fast forward all those years later, Miley was, I think, was 13 when she recorded the Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. And of course, and this would have been around the time when she was still in her Hannah Montana era. So you get that, oh yeah, rocking around the Christmas, very country, very Tennessee, very, it's great. Coming in hot, number 7. Justin Bieber, Mistletoe. Oh, damn. You want to talk about a good Christmas album? That Christmas album, the whole album. He got a little song on there with Boys to Men. It's a good one. If you haven't heard Justin Bieber's Christmas album, get it. It's great. Mistletoe, that's one. Oh, man. The video is so cute. I'ma be under the mistletoe with you. Shout it with you. Who said shout it with you? Y'all know that. Number 6. Woo, talk about a love song. Johnny Gill, Give Love. Give love on Korea. Now, some people might have said Jackson 5, and hey, I can do that too. Most of the Give Loves, I like, I can get with it, but it's something about that Johnny Gill, that arrangement, that beat. Dun, 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 dun. Man, the way it started, it was so warm. Damn, Johnny Gill. Johnny Gill, that was the he sung it. I'm sorry, the way he sang it, but Give Love, that's a good one. Number 5, SpongeBob, which is the movie will be out by the time you're listening to this. SpongeBob, The Very First Christmas. Man, this Christmas feels like the very first Christmas to me. Man, he was out there wilding. It was so funny. The video is funny. You gotta watch it. Love SpongeBob. Favorite. You know what I'm saying? Number 4. Okay, we gotta get sentimental again. The Whispers. Happy holidays to you. Happy holiday. What y'all know about the Whispers? Y'all know a damn thing about the Whispers. Christmas music is great. But the classics, the really, Christmas songs, sometimes they gotta be out for, you know what I'm saying? Is it a Christmas song if it just came out? Sometimes they gotta age, they gotta get a little seasoning on them. That's why you see songs like Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas. How long did that song, was that out before it really? Sometimes songs got aged 30, 40, 50 years. At least 10, you know? unfortunately, look, we'll do an honorable mention for Mariah Carey. Love her so much. Love her Christmas. She is the queen of Christmas. But I felt like it was such an obvious song. I couldn't give her a number on the list, but love her so much. Honorable mention. All right, so now we're at the top 3. We are at the top 3. This was a battle, y'all. Coming in at number 3, Underneath the Tree, Kelly Clarkson. My God. You want to talk about a song that I will put on repeat? Oh, y'all know I love the Kelly Clarkson. I love Kelly Clarkson. I remember when she first came out. I still remember that video. What Happened to Miss Independent? Oh my gosh. Breakaway. She's got the hits and she can sing any song. I say this all the time. But man, that Underneath the Tree will make you want to go out and buy 15 more presents. Well, don't let that song come on in the Old Navy, baby. Everybody get. Anyways, number 2. I had to throw in my girl. Yeah, no, come on now. Ariana Grande with Santa Tell Me. Man, now you want to talk about a fun, cute little video? Santa tell me if he really cares. To make me fall in love again. Man, y'all don't know nothing about no Ariana. Now there's another one. I like when other people sing Santa Tell Me, but I think the Ariana version, she's another one. Great Christmas music. Great Christmas music. Which, of course, are we surprised? And look at the little video. Love the video. I think that was I normally start out my Christmas with this number 1 song, but I think this year I started it with Ariana, Santa Tell Me, because YouTube couldn't wait. I didn't even play. YouTube was like, baby, Thanksgiving is over. I don't even know if we made it to December 1st. And YouTube was like, here, watch it. So, coming in at number 1. Some of you may know. Argue with Your Mama, number 1 Christmas song for me. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. NSYNC. Oh, god damn. That song fills me with so much joy. I could just burst with tears. Another great video. All the little churn. I mean, it was, oh god. They had so much fun. I mean, look, feel how you want to feel about Justin Timberlake. We not talking about none of that right now. We are talking about the nostalgia of NSYNC and Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday. Uh, uh. Merry Christmas. Man, another great Christmas album. Let me tell you something. NSYNC Christmas album. The Boyz II Men Christmas album. Honorable mention. Ariana Grande. Disney has some great little compilations and stuff. Get you some country Christmas albums. Country music has some great albums. Country Christmas music and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Whitney's got some good ones, of course. Toni Braxton she's gonna give it to you. You know who you don't mind putting on? Ashanti. Ashanti has some good Christmas music too. I ain't gonna hold you. Look, I prefer a top 40. I like a little bit of everything, but I love a Christmas jazz, but hey, number 1, NSYNC. So anyways, that's my top 12. Let me know what's your favorite Christmas song or songs. I know it's hard to pick one. Or tell me which ones you don't like. Tell me which ones you like. Damn, I ain't gotta hear that for the next 5 Christmases. 'Cause, there's some that, they will keep putting in rotation. They will. Miley also has another really good Christmas song. Oh gosh, it was called. It's gosh, you know that y'all know that song. Hold on, let me look. Hold on, I'm looking because I want to tell y'all exactly the name. But you know the song. Now, this is one you gonna get a little sentimental. She has a few Christmas songs, but there was one. Oh, come on now. What is the song? What is it? War is over. Happy Christmas. War is over. Man, that is such a great song for her voice. Now, this one that she came out more recently, just like a few years ago, within the last 5 years or something. But her voice, over the years, that voice got real deep, and that song is That War is Up. That's a beautiful song. That's a beautiful, beautiful Christmas song. Anyways, I have held y'all long enough. I'm going to let y'all get to it. I'm going to let you go ahead and plan out your cookie recipe. Now, we talked about baking. If you've seen the YouTubes and things, we talked about baking. People don't bake and make recipes no more. Go dig out grandma's recipe. Or, look, if you want to go and get you some Pillsbury, some Toll House, hey, you do that too. Get you great value if you want. Get you some cookies, decorate them. You know what I'm saying? You ain't have no cheering around. You be grown as hell. Get you some cookies, decorate. See how you feel. You know what I'm saying? It does wonders for the brain. Be nostalgic. Embrace that inner child. Above all else, be safe. Do your best to be merry. It's been a hell of a year for some people, but you know what? You made it. God damn it. Don't break the bank. Don't feel like you got to do the most. Shop within your means. If people gonna be turning their lips up and looking so, maybe you did it up the last 2, 3, 4, 5 Christmases. Maybe you can't do it this year. That's okay. That's okay. Do what fits for your family and your friends. And maybe for those of you who move somewhere and you're not able to travel home for the holidays, you know, find you some things that surround you with some good Christmas memories. Don't be in the corner breaking down no damn word. But hey, if you want to go down, if to the little local bar, grab you a drink. I promise you're not gonna be the only one up in there. I hear all the time a lot of people say that they go to the bars and things on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. You are not the only person. You might go in there and find a whole new friendship. Mess around, join a bowling league or a soccer team or something. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Do something different. Start your own tradition. You do it. You could cry a little bit, but slap out of it. Make sure you get the batteries. Those of you who you got children, Santa's gonna be bringing toys. Make sure you get the batteries. Sometimes Santa forget the batteries. Make sure you get the batteries. Make sure you got plenty of trash bags. Okay. Make sure you got plenty of wrapping paper. And you know what? I know we like to save a couple dollars on wrapping paper and stuff like that. Let me tell you something, man. If you plan on taking the presents outside of your house, if you wrapping gifts and you taking them to Christmas parties or the relatives and stuff, either get bags or spend the extra $2 on some nice, decent Christmas paper. And not because you're trying to impress anybody, but because the shit will tear up before you reach where you're trying to go. Now everybody know you done got somebody Beats headphones because paper falling. Look, get you some nice little gift bags. Throw a little paper in. It's easier anyway. But if you like to rap and you enjoy the art of it, don't mess around because some of y'all like to drink while you rap. And you get a little heavy-handed. If you one of them, you put whiskey in your eggnog. Don't try to rap with that little thin paper. You're going to be frustrated. Shit's going to be turning up and ripping up all up and down under. Okay? No needing you cussing nobody out because you frustrated with the cheap-ass paper. You will be so glad. Just, Now, if you just wrap and put it on a tree for your little children and stuff and they going to rip it all up anyway, you can get the little cheap paper. If it's just going from upstairs to under the tree, baby, it's okay. It's okay. And you can rearrange the presents to hide the holes and tears in there. But anyways, that's my advice. Y'all be safe. If it is snowing, just be very careful. People are very excited, and we all want to be able to bring in 2026, okay? But we will talk more about New Year things on the next episode. But very Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy holiday season if you don't celebrate anything. Happy whatever you do celebrate. Let me know your traditions. Share it with the world. Take pictures. If you hate take pictures, just take the picture for the memory. Just do it for the memory. But happy holidays and Merry Christmas from Nellyville. And yeah, I'll be back after Christmas. Check out the playlist. Okay,